Training camp invitee, cut player. This is where the dream starts, and where most dreams end. Training camp is the harshest level in the WNBA. With only 144 roster spots total and dozens of new rookies, free agents, and returning internationals fighting to grab one, even being invited is rare. Keeping that spot? Brutal. Every May, names fly across social media. Waived, released, cut. These players usually don't make it to opening night, not because they're not good enough, but because there's just not enough room. Players like Evina Westbrook and Kayla Pointer were college stars, and still got cut. It's not about talent at this level, it's about timing, fit, and luck. Some invitees bounce around from team to team trying to find a home. Others head overseas or wait for a 7-day contract mid-season when someone gets hurt. Some, like Rebecca Allen in her early years, eventually make it back and carve out a role. But most? They're just names in the camp logs that disappear before June. Overseas grinder. When the WNBA says we don't have room, players take their talents global. Turkey, Russia, Spain, China. The overseas grinder doesn't stop playing. They just stop being seen in the US. Some go for the paycheck, others for the reps. A few go because it's their only option. Players like Natasha Howard, Alicia Clark, and even Jonquel Jones became monsters overseas before getting real minutes back in the W. You'll catch clips of them dropping 35 in front of screaming Euro crowds, then flying straight to WNBA training camp with 0 days off. The physical and emotional grind is insane. Long flights, language barriers, double seasons. But sometimes that grind pays off. They return home better, stronger, more respected. Others never make it back. Overseas becomes the career. They build a life there, play a decade, make money, and fade from the WNBA spotlight. But if you've ever seen a player torch EuroLeague and think, wait, why isn't she in the W? Now you know. End of bench WNBA player. If you made the roster, congrats. But don't get comfortable. You're at the bottom of the bench and every game is an audition. Minutes? Maybe 5. Touches? Maybe none. Margin for error? 0. This is the world of players like Emily Engstler or Ray Burrell. First-round picks turned into role players hanging on by a thread. You show up early, stay late, guard stars in practice, and pray you don't get waived after the next injury return. These players sit in press photos but rarely touch the court. They're often assigned to practice squad status, vital behind closed doors, invisible on TV. The sad part? Sometimes they never get a real shot to prove themselves. Not because they didn't earn it, but because the game was too close, the coach had a short leash, or the roster was just stacked. Rotational bench player. Now we're in. You're playing 12-18 minutes a night, maybe more depending on matchups. You're not a starter, not a sixth woman, but you matter. You're part of the game plan. Think Sophie Cunningham or Lexi Brown. Players who come off the bench to knock down threes, pester ball handlers, and swing a quarter when the starters need a breather. You don't have to drop 20, but if you give the team 8 points, 2 steals, and a hustle play that brings the crowd to life, you're gold. These players earn their next contract with quiet consistency. No headlines, no shoe deals, just respect in the locker room. This is where you either level up or plateau. Keep showing out, and you might get sixth woman buzz or even start. But coast for too long, you're back to the edge of the bench, or worse, overseas again. Sixth woman. The sixth woman is the flamethrower off the bench. She's not starting, but she might be finishing. This is the player who walks in, looks around like, y'all need saving, and delivers. Think Kalia Copper back in her pre-starter days, or Dejanai Carrington in 2024. They enter with energy, intensity, and instant offense. You need a quick 7 points? A mid-game momentum swing? A guard who's gonna full-court press like it's the playoffs? That's her job. But it's not just hustle. The best sixth women are strategic weapons. Coaches hold them like chess pieces, deploying them when the game starts tipping. And when they do enter, you feel it. The game gets faster, louder, grittier. Winning Sixth Woman of the Year in the WNBA is no consolation prize. It's a statement. I could start. I just changed the game better this way. Glue player. You won't always see her in the highlights. You might not even notice her on the box score. But ask any coach, and they'll tell you. The glue player holds the whole thing together. She rotates perfectly on defense, makes the extra pass, boxes out even when she's undersized, and never complains about minutes. She's the teammate who talks on screens, helps rookies get settled, and keeps the locker room from imploding during a losing streak. Think Alicia Clark, Rebecca Allen, or Kayla Thornton. They don't need 20 shots. They need to win. Sometimes they get paid. Sometimes they get overlooked. But every title team has one. And when they're gone, the whole vibe changes. That's the thing about glue. You don't notice it until it's missing. Starter. Starters set the tone. If you're one of the 5 that opens every game, you're not just good. You're reliable, durable, and trusted. Starters are the spine of the team. You guard the best player. You take the first shot. You answer when things go sideways in the first quarter and again in the fourth. Whether you're a scoring threat, a lockdown defender, or a facilitator, your presence shapes everything. Think Courtney Vandersloot, Jackie Young, Nneka Ogwumike in her prime. These are players you pencil in every night and build your game plan around. They're not always flashy, but they show up every single game. To the casual fan, the starters are the ones on the intro video. To the real ones, they're the machine. And you better believe the coach notices when they're not running right. Breakout star. The breakout star is the one who levels up and starts forcing conversations. Not just she's good, but wait, is she elite now? This tier is for players who weren't in the spotlight before, but now. You're circling their name on the schedule. Think Sabrina Ionescu in 2022, Rhyne Howard in 2023, or Ari McDonald when she finally got real minutes. They drop a 25-point night out of nowhere, then do it again. Suddenly, they're closing games, taking crunch time shots and popping up in every highlight reel. Their stats go up, their confidence explodes, and the league starts buzzing. This is the moment when fans start ordering your jersey, when all-star ballots include your name, when opponents go from "who's guarding her" to "we need to stop her." Breakout stars don't arrive quietly, they kick the door down. All-Star Reserve. Making the All-Star team as a reserve means the coaches see you. It means you're not just having a good season. You're one of the best 7 in your conference not voted in by fans. That's respect. All-Star Reserves are the ones doing the dirty work, putting up numbers, and carrying teams quietly until the league finally says, yeah, she deserves a spot. Think Satu Sabali in 2023 or Natasha Howard during her peak Storm years. They weren't always front-page names, but when the stat sheet starts screaming and the wins pile up, they're impossible to ignore. These players have hit a tier where their peers and coaches trust them in the spotlight, and sometimes they outshine the starters once they get there. All-Star Starter. All-Star starters are the face of the league, and the fans know it. To start, you need more than just stats. You need visibility, charisma, highlights, and buzz. You're dropping 20+ a night, winning games, and going viral doing it. You're not just great, you're popularly great. Players like Aja Wilson, Breanna Stewart, or now Caitlin Clark define this category. Fans rally around them. Coaches build around them. Kids mimic their shots in the driveway. All-Star starters are more than players, they're brands. They headline the game, walk in with the fits, and usually walk out with a double-double and a W stat leader, PTG, RPG, APG, etc. Being a stat leader isn't just about skill, it's about dominance. You're leading the league in something major, and that means every night you step on the court, someone's trying to stop you, and failing. Whether it's Jewel Lloyd leading the WNBA in points per game, Alyssa Thomas stacking triple-doubles and assists, or Tierra McCowan dominating rebounds, these players are specialists at the very top of their craft. But it's not just numbers, it's consistency. You don't lead the league with one hot week. You do it over 40 games, with teams game planning against you every single night. Stat leaders are the ones opposing coaches lose sleep over. All-defensive team. This one's for the players who ruin other people's nights. The all-defensive team isn't about scoring, it's about stopping scoring. It's for the nightmare matchups, the ball hawks, the shot blockers, and the screen navigators. Think Brittany Sykes, Alyssa Thomas, or Ezi Magbagor. Women who make even elite scorers uncomfortable. They're the reason you hesitate before pulling up. The hand in your face, the footwork that cuts off your drive, the block that starts the fast break. Defense in the WNBA is brutal. Quick rotations, elite athletes, constant movement. Being named to the all-defensive team means you're elite among the elite, not just physically, but mentally. These are the players who set the tone, protect the lead, and close the door when it matters most. All-WNBA second team. The All-WNBA second team is where greatness begins to get immortalized. These players weren't just excellent for a few games, they dominated across an entire season. Being named All-WNBA second team means you were one of the top 10 players in the league. Period. You put up numbers, you carried, you won games. But maybe, just maybe, there were 5 players just a little bit more dominant. Still, making this list means you've officially arrived as a top-tier WNBA force. Think of players like Arike Ogunbowale, who constantly flirts with 20 points a game and puts her team on her back night after night. Or Kelsey Plum, who lights it up even when playing beside MVPs. Second-teamers are stars who just happen to share a season with legends. But don't get it twisted, they're still the ones every team fears. All-WNBA first team. This is where the elite live. If second team is impressive, first team is historic. Only 5 players make it. No positions, no excuses. Just the 5 best WNBA players in the world that year. You're dominating every statistical category. You're passing the eye test. You're making the highlight reels and the analytics dashboards. You're playing nearly 40 minutes a night, anchoring both ends of the floor and doing it consistently. Players like Breanna Stewart, Aja Wilson, Nneka Ogwumike in her prime, they lived on this team. First team All-WNBA means you didn't just have a good year. You had a season that will get mentioned in all-time conversations. This is where future MVPs and Hall of Famers typically hang out. MVP finalist. If you're a WNBA MVP finalist, you're already legendary. Even if you don't win, just being in the top 3 means the entire league had to stop and acknowledge that you were that good. This is where impact meets narrative. MVP finalists usually check every box: elite stats, team success, consistent dominance, and the intangible "she's carrying them" energy. Think Alyssa Thomas in 2023, who had a historic triple-double campaign, or Nafisa Collier making a case after a massive comeback season. These women didn't just show up, they shifted the balance of the league. Being a finalist means you're in the conversation, and sometimes just being in the conversation means more than holding the trophy. WNBA MVP. Only the best of the best wear this crown. Winning MVP in the WNBA means you didn't just shine, you owned the season. You led your team to wins. You put up absurd stats. You did it against every team, every night without excuses. And you did it in a league that is unforgiving when it comes to consistency. Aja Wilson has done it. Breanna Stewart has done it. Candace Parker, Elena Delle Donne, Sylvia Fowles, each an MVP, each a legend. This isn't just about points. It's about defense, leadership, impact, and staying dominant through every injury, road trip, and bad whistle. You can't fake your way to MVP. You have to earn it with every game, every play, every second. WNBA champion. Winning a WNBA championship means you reach the summit. This isn't just about being great. This is about being the last team standing. It means your squad made it through a grueling regular season, multiple playoff battles, and outlasted every contender in the league. WNBA champions are remembered forever. You see them on parade floats, locker room champagne photos, and in highlight reels played every final season. The Las Vegas Aces, winning back-to-back in 2022 and 2023, showed what modern dominance looks like. Players like Chelsea Gray, Aja Wilson, and Jackie Young became postseason icons. No matter how your regular season went, if you get the ring, you're in a different class. You weren't just great, you were clutch when it mattered most. Finals MVP. This is for the player who showed up when the lights were the brightest. Finals MVPs are not just elite, they're myth-making. This is the award that turns stars into legends. You carried your team when everyone was watching. You changed games. You bent series outcomes to your will. Chelsea Gray in 2022, pure dominance. She averaged 21 points on nearly 61% shooting and was absolutely unguardable in crunch time. Her Finals MVP run was one of the best we've ever seen. Finals MVP means you didn't just win the title, you led the charge. It's not always the regular season star. Sometimes it's the overlooked vet who flips the series. But whoever wins it, that name gets remembered forever. Franchise GOAT. Every team has that one name, the one fans chant, the jersey that gets retired, the player whose shadow looms over the locker room forever. Franchise GOATs aren't just great, they're identity builders. They're the face of the franchise. They created memories, brought trophies, and gave the fan base a reason to believe. Think Sue Bird for the Seattle Storm, or Diana Taurasi for the Mercury, Sylvia Fowles in Minnesota, Tamika Catchings in Indiana. These women didn't just play, they shaped the entire culture. They were loyal, they were dominant, they were the reason their teams mattered. Being a franchise GOAT isn't about numbers alone, it's about lasting impact. Hall of Famer. This is where careers go to live forever. The Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame honors players who didn't just dominate, they left a legacy. WNBA Hall of Famers changed the game. They made it better, more visible, and more respected. To get in, you need longevity, consistency, and a reputation that transcends stat sheets. Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, Tamika Catchings, Tina Thompson, their names are etched into basketball history. It's not just about points or rings. It's about what you did for the game, your influence, your leadership, the way people talk about you decades later. Hall of Fame isn't the end of the road. It's the immortal tier, where the WNBA's finest become legends forever. Cultural icon. Not every icon is the best player on the court, but they are the reason people show up. Cultural icons break through basketball's borders. They influence fashion, politics, media, and identity. They bring new fans to the sport and change how people see it. Not just how it's played, but what it represents. Think Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe, redefining the intersection of sports and advocacy. Think Caitlin Clark, shattering college viewership records before she even played a WNBA minute. Think Candace Parker, who became the face of an entire era and then stepped into broadcasting, business, and mentorship. Being a cultural icon means you're bigger than the box score. You shape conversations, spark movements, and open doors. And long after you retire, your impact stays loud. League changer. Only a few players can say this. The WNBA was one thing before me, and something different after. League changers reshape how the game is played, watched, and run. They bring in new fans, redefine positions, or influence rules and strategy. These are evolutionary figures, not just dominant players. Diana Taurasi pushed the offensive boundaries of the league. Lisa Leslie was the first to dunk and turned it into a global moment. Brittany Griner made the WNBA rethink how to use height and athleticism. And now, Clark and Reese are on track to reshape the economics and media footprint of the entire league. League changers don't just play the game, they force the league to level up around them. WNBA Mount Rushmore. This isn't about debate, this is about permanence. To make the WNBA's Mount Rushmore means you're one of the 4 greatest to ever touch the court. No filler, no hot takes, just the legends whose legacy is undeniable. Most people would include names like Lisa Leslie, Diana Taurasi, Tamika Catchings, Maya Moore. Some might swap in Cheryl Swoops, Candace Parker, or one day Aja Wilson. But no matter the list, the bar is absolute greatness. Mount Rushmore players didn't just win, they defined eras. They were the names every kid knew, the ones every team feared, and the standard every future player is judged against. The GOAT, the top of the mountain, the one, the greatest. To be the GOAT, the greatest of all time, you don't just have stats, rings, and records. You have an aura, a story, a legacy so powerful it feels untouchable. Diana Taurasi is the most common pick. The WNBA's all-time leading scorer, multiple-time champ, Olympic gold medalist, and cold-blooded killer in every clutch moment. But Maya Moore fans will argue no one had a higher peak. Tamika Catchings stands will bring up all-around dominance. And now Aja Wilson is making her case in real time. The GOAT is the player who shaped the game, then left it with no doubt she did it better than anyone else. And that's every level of WNBA greatness, from a camp invite to the GOAT. Drop a comment with where you think your favorite player lands.